Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast.
Today we are dissecting a company that's attempting, well, one of the most high-stakes maneuvers in the public markets. We're looking at Cipher mining.
CIFR.
Right. And you really need to suspend what you think you know about crypto stocks for a second. Because if you view this just as a Bitcoin mining story, you're really missing the forest for the trees.
How so?
We're witnessing a massive pivot. I mean, this company is actively trying to mutate from a pure-play crypto miner into something totally different, a diversified, heavyweight AI and high-performance computing infrastructure provider.
As usual, before we start, subscribe, like, and comment to this video to support the show. It really helps us out.
Okay, so let's get right to it. The so what? Why this specific ticker right now?
Well, the headline numbers are practically screaming for attention.
Go on.
They just posted a revenue beat that didn't just inch past expectations. It blew them out of the water by almost 35%. And if you've been holding this for the last year, you're sitting on a return of over 221%, which is impressive, I'll give you that. But that is exactly where my alarm bells start ringing.
Of course.
When I see a triple-digit run-up, especially in a sector known for hype, I have to ask what's actually baked into that price. We're looking at a valuation of nearly 34 times sales.
Sales, not earnings. That's a key point.
Exactly. And a balance sheet with over $1 billion in debt. So the question today isn't just, is the chart pretty? It's, is this a legitimate breakout, or is this an AI bubble just waiting to pop?
That's the billion-dollar question. And to answer it, we can't just rely on hype. We have to strip this down to the cold, hard numbers and the fundamentals.
Let's do it. Because when you look under the hood, I mean, the revenue growth is undeniable, but the profitability picture, that's where things get murky for me.
Murky, maybe, but I'd say it's trending in a very specific direction.
Yeah.
Let's look at those Q4 numbers they just dropped.
Okay.
Cipher reported $106.69 million in revenue. The Street. They were only expecting around $79 million.
So a huge beat.
It's not a rounding error. It shows a massive operational scale-up. And when you annualize that, their run rate is now approaching $427 million. They're proving they can deploy this stuff much faster than the market was predicting.
Sure, the top line is growing. I can see the chart going up and to the right. But as a skeptic here, I have to point to the bottom line. It is still bleeding red ink.
It is.
The net margin is negative 34%. Their EPS came in at negative 1 cent. And if you look out, analysts don't expect positive EPS until fiscal 2026.
That's the current consensus.
So let's just be clear for everyone listening. You are buying a company that is, for now, losing money.
That is technically true, but you're looking at a snapshot, and I'm looking at the movie.
Yeah.
You have to look at the rate of change.
Explain.
They didn't just beat on revenue. They beat the EPS consensus, too. The market expected a loss of 8 cents. They delivered a loss of only 1 cent. That tells me the losses are narrowing significantly. This is what we call a classic pre-profitability inflection.
Pre-profitability inflection. That sounds a little like consultant speak for, we're still losing money.
No, it means the operating leverage is about to kick in. Think of it like building a massive factory, right? You spend millions up front on the walls, the concrete, the machines.
Fixed costs?
Exactly. It's all front-loaded. But once that factory is running, every extra widget you sell costs very little to make, so it contributes almost entirely to profit. Cipher has built the factory. Now revenue is growing much faster than expenses.
Okay, so the losses are shrinking because the infrastructure is finally turning on. I'll grant you that trend is positive, but what's actually protecting this revenue? Where's the moat? In mining, it's usually just a race to the bottom on hardware.
That's where you have to look beyond the hardware. For Cipher, the moat isn't the mining rigs, those are commodities. The moat is the power.
The power.
They have secured a development pipeline of 3.4 gigawatts.
Okay, 3.4 gigawatts. Let's just pause on that number for a second because I don't think people realize how much juice that really is.
It's staggering.
For context, 1 gigawatt is enough energy to power about 750,000 homes. So we're talking about enough power for a huge city.
Exactly. And in this new world of HPC and power-hungry AI, power is the new gold. But it's not just the number, it's the interconnects. You can't just walk into a utility and ask for a gigawatt anymore.
The grid is constrained.
Totally. Transformers are on, what, 3-year back orders?
By locking these sites down now, Cipher creates a massive barrier to entry.
So they're basically land banking power capacity. They got in line before the line went around the block.
That's a perfect way to put it. Look at the new Ohio site they just acquired, codenamed Ulysses. That's a 200-megawatt facility coming online by Q4 2027. The key here is that these low-cost power contracts are non-transferable and incredibly scarce.
So a competitor can't just buy it from them.
No. And if a competitor wants to build a new data center today, they might be looking at a 2029 or 2030 timeline just to get plugged in. Cipher's already there. They hold the ticket. That makes sense as a strategy. Real estate and power arbitrage. But you mentioned this AI pivot. How real is that? Because let's be honest, every miner on the planet is suddenly an AI infrastructure company now.
It's the trend, for sure.
We're not crypto anymore, we're AI.
It is the trend. But for Cipher, it's more than just a marketing slide. It's a fundamental shift in how they build these sites. A Bitcoin mine is actually pretty, well, dumb infrastructure.
Right, it's a shed with fans.
It's a warehouse with fans blowing air on racks. You don't need redundancy. If the power cuts, who cares? You just lose 10 minutes of hashing.
The Bitcoin doesn't get corrupted, you just turn it back on.
Exactly. But AI, high-performance computing for cloud giants, that's a different world. That requires Tier 3 data centers. You need massive liquid cooling, backup generators, fiber redundancy. You need 99.9999% uptime.
You can't have a blackout when you're training a large language model.
You lose the data. It's a catastrophe. So Cipher is building to that higher standard. The thinking is this could lead to partnerships with cloud giants like AWS. And if they convert even half of that 3.4 gigawatts to hosting for AI, the revenue quality, it changes completely.
How sad.
It goes from volatile crypto mining rewards where you're just praying Bitcoin is up to stable, high-margin, long-term lease payments. You become a landlord for the internet.
A digital REIT.
Yes. You get paid whether Bitcoin is at 100K or 10K.
That's the bull case. But we have to address the elephant in the room. The debt. They're carrying $1.03 billion in long-term debt. That is a heavy backpack for a company that isn't profitable yet.
It's a significant number. $1 billion is a lot of leverage, no doubt. But you have to look at their liquidity to see if it's manageable. Their current ratio is 2.5.
Break that down for the listeners. Current ratio.
It just measures your ability to pay your short-term bills. A 2.5 means they have $2.50 of current assets, like cash, Bitcoin, for every $1 of bills due in the next year.
And a ratio over 2 is considered pretty healthy.
Very healthy. So they have the cash to operate. And frankly, in this industry, if you want to build that much capacity before your competitors, you have to use leverage. That debt is strategic. It's fuel for the land grab.
It's a high-stakes bet, though. Strategic leverage looks like genius when you're growing, and it looks like bankruptcy when the cycle turns. Okay, the story is growth funded by debt. Let's pivot to the charts and price action to see what the market thinks about this bet.
And the market thinks something big is happening. The price action is really telling a story of accumulation.
The momentum is definitely there. We mentioned that 221% return over the last year, even year to date. In just a few weeks, they're up over 9%. But isn't a stock that runs that hot usually due for a pullback?
You'd think so. But interestingly, even with that run, the stock's trading around $17.72. The average analyst target is sitting at $24.73.
So that implies there's still, what, almost 50% upside from here?
About that, yeah. The chart isn't showing a blow off top. It's showing a strong, sustained uptrend.
Okay, well, let's talk about the volatility. I was looking at the options chain for mid-February, and the implied volatility is, it's juiced.
It's sky high.
For those new to options, IV just measures how much the market expects the price to swing. Right now, the market is pricing in a range anywhere from about $14.50 on the downside to over $23 on the upside. That's a huge spread for 1 month.
It is. It tells you the market is expecting a violent move. It just doesn't know which way yet.
So high uncertainty.
True, but if you look at the flow, where the actual money is going, it's leaning bullish. We're seeing what's called bullish options flow. Smart money is paying that high premium for options. They're betting on a breakout. They aren't buying puts to protect. They're buying calls to capture the upside.
I also noticed some interesting divergence in the volume pattern.
Yes, this is a key technical signal. The stock had that big 16% rally over 5 sessions recently. But what's fascinating is on the down days, when the price pulls back a little, the volume just dries up.
But when the price ticks up, volume spikes.
Exactly. Meaning there's no heavy selling pressure on the dips. It suggests institutional accumulation. The big players, the hedge funds, pensions are loading up their bags. They're using the volatility to hide their entries so they don't spike the price too early.
So the technicals are painting a picture of a coiled spring. The charts show heat, but let's look at what the street is actually saying in the sentiment check. Is this just Reddit retail hype, or are the suits involved?
Oh, the analysts are definitely waking up to this story. It's moved way beyond the chat rooms.
Always making moves.
We've got some heavy hitters upgrading the stock. Needham & Company just raised their price target from $15 all the way to $26. Macquarie boosted theirs to $27.
Wow, those aren't small adjustments.
Not at all. These are significant repricings of the company's future value.
Why the sudden jump, though? Did the math change that much in a month?
It's about the multiple expansion. When you're valued as a Bitcoin miner, you get a low multiple because crypto is risky. When you're valued as an AI data center provider, you get a NVIDIA adjacent multiple, which is much, much higher.
They're giving them credit for the pivot before it's even finished.
That's what the market does. It looks forward. The analysts are starting to value Cipher as an AI play, not just a crypto play.
And the overall consensus is a moderate buy. That 39.5% implied upside is pretty hard to ignore. I also ran the numbers through the Alpha Vantage sentiment data. Weighted score is bullish. The narrative is all about that Ohio expansion and the HPC pivot.
It's a narrative shift. They're shedding the crypto miner skin and putting on the AI infrastructure one. And in this market, that AI label is worth its weight in gold.
However, I have to play the skeptic again. There's a red flag here we need to discuss. Insider selling.
I had a feeling you'd bring this up.
I have to. The COO, Patrick Arthur Kelly, sold over $600,000 worth of stock in mid-January. If this company is about to go to the moon, why is leadership selling?
I saw that too, and on the surface, it looks bad. I get it, but you have to contextualize it. This wasn't a panic sell. It was executed under a Rule 10b5-1 trading plan.
Okay, explain that for the listener. What's a 10b5-1 plan?
It's a pre-scheduled trading plan. Executives set them up months, even years in advance. They say, on this date, sell this many shares, no matter the price.
To avoid accusations of insider trading?
Right. So this sale was triggered by a calendar date, not by news. It's usually for taxes or diversification. He literally couldn't have stopped the sale if he wanted to.
That's the standard defense. It was pre-planned. But he's still taking chips off the table.
But look at what he has left. He still holds over 1.5 million shares. Selling $600,000 when you hold that much is a drop in the bucket. And more importantly, while he was selling that small chunk, institutions were buying. Institutional ownership is at 12.26%, and it's rising.
So insiders selling for taxes, institutions buying for growth.
That's usually a net bullish signal.
Fair point. He's
Yeah.
still heavily invested, but it's worth monitoring.
Okay, but it can't be all green candles. Let's look at the risks in the bear case. Because if this goes wrong, it could go wrong big.
Absolutely. We have to be realistic. This is not a risk-free trade by any means. The first one is obvious to me. Valuation. I mentioned the price-to-sales ratio. 33.9 times sales. That is incredibly rich. That is what we call priced for perfection.
It's a premium multiple, there is no doubt. You are absolutely paying for growth that hasn't happened yet.
And the risk is, if they miss that profitability window, if the Ulysses site gets delayed, or if the HPC contracts don't show up by 2027, the multiple compression will be brutal.
It would be.
If the market decides this is just a miner again, the stock price could get cut in half. A miner trades at maybe 2 to 5 times sales, not 34.
That is the execution risk. They absolutely have to deliver on the pivot.
And speaking of mining, they are still tied to Bitcoin right now. Their cash flow depends on BTC. If Bitcoin drops below 30K or fails to hold 50K, the cash flow needed to service that $1 billion in debt it dries up.
It's like using your winnings from the blackjack table to build a hotel.
Right. If the cards turn cold, the construction stops.
That is a very real dependency. They need the crypto market to cooperate for the next 12 to 24 months. That bridge needs to stay stable while they walk across it.
Then you have the macro risks, energy costs, regulations. Governments are looking at miners with a lot more scrutiny. What happens if a carbon tax hits? Or the grid operator says, sorry, we need that power for hospitals.
I acknowledge that, but I think this is actually where their strategy acts as a shield. The geographic diversification, the long-term fixed power contracts, that's the mitigation.
How so?
If energy prices spike, Cipher is locked in at lower rates while their competitors get crushed. And by pivoting to HPC, they become essential infrastructure for the tech economy. It's much harder to shut down a data center supporting the American AI sector than it is to shut down a crypto mine.
So the pivot is also a political survival strategy.
Exactly. It's a hedge against regulatory risk.
All right, we've weighed the growth against the debt, the pivot against the valuation. It's a complex picture. Let's hit the verdict.
Let's bring it home.
What's the final score?
Taking everything into account. The massive revenue beat, that strategic power pipeline, the institutional support, but balancing it against the debt and the rich valuation. I am giving Cipher Mining a bullish score of 7.5 out of 10.
7.5, that's a fairly confident score. Walk us through the thesis one last time.
The narrative is clear. This is a transition story. You're buying a company moving from volatile mining to stable AI infrastructure. The trigger was that Q4 revenue beat. It proved they can execute. The market is forward-looking, and it's starting to price in the 2027 earnings profile today.
So what's the play? How should people be thinking about this?
I see this as a 6 to 12-month swing trade. We're targeting that profitability inflection point. We want to ride the repricing as they sign those HPC contracts.
And for those looking to open a position, where are the entry points? This stock is volatile.
Yeah, you do not want to chase this on a big green day. I advise patience. Look to accumulate on dips. If it pulls back below $15.50, that's your buy zone. Use the volatility to your advantage.
And where do we get off the ride? What are the targets?
I'm targeting the analyst consensus range, somewhere between $24.10 and $27. That captures the upside from the repricing without getting too greedy. If it hits $27, I'd take profits.
And I'll add a strict note on position sizing. Because of that volatility and the debt, this stock will swing wild. It could drop 20% in a week and still be in an uptrend. Do not bet the farm.
Please don't.
I'd say 2 to 3% of the portfolio, maximum. This belongs in the risk-tolerant bucket of your account.
Completely agree. This is for the growth portion of your portfolio. But if they pull this pivot off, the upside is significant. It's one of the few ways to play the energy constraint thesis of AI without just buying a utility company.
It's definitely one of the more interesting setups in the market right now. A high-wire act, but one with a safety net of power contracts.
That's the best way to put it.
That's the thesis for Cipher mining. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment to help us beat the algorithm. We'll see you in the next one.